You are now listening to Renewed Mind Revolution podcast with your host, Michelle Cook Hall. Please begin to take that good deep breath as we begin to refresh, recharge, and reset. Let's go. Welcome to Renewed Mind Revolution podcast with your host, Michelle Cook Hall. As always, it is my honor and it is my pleasure to be able to come on today, share some tips, share some tools with you guys that I know will help you and assist you in becoming a better you. Listen, today is a good day. Why do I say? Because we are here. We are alive. We are on this side of glory. We are in the land of the living, right? That's what the older people used to say. What a blessing it is to be alive. What a blessing it is to be on this side. And although you might not see that today, you might be facing what is a giant in your life. I too know what it feels like to be facing a giant. So maybe you're facing a giant today. That means maybe there is something that is before you that is much bigger than you. Maybe you can't see over it, right? Maybe you can't see through it, right? Because it's so big, right? But today we're going to talk more about perception. We're going to talk more about perspective, because that really does make a world of a difference. I love emphasizing, sharing, talking about perspectives. Once we get that understanding, it changes a lot for you and for me. So, although you might have this huge giant in front of you, something that you cannot see through, you cannot see over, is staring you in your face, and it is quite intimidating. If you see something that you can't see through, because you can't see your way out in, right? If you see something that you can't see over, you can't see a way of escape, right? That becomes intimidating for anybody. But perspective. You might not be able to see through it. You might not be able to see over it. But giants mostly are tall, not necessarily the width of your view. And so, although you can't see over it, you can't see through it, you can definitely see around it. But sometimes what we see clearly right within our view is what we get stuck on. And we forget that there is another way. There is always another way. I remember once sharing with some young ladies regarding being an author and opportunities that was given to me or not given to me. How do I deal with those, right? The opportunities that you want but you don't get. When you hear the word no, sorry, rejection letters, when you send out your books and your stories and you get rejection. You get, I can tell within the first couple of lines, here comes the rejection. I become a pro at, we really appreciate you sending, but, and I already know, right? How do I deal with that? And I remember sharing with the ladies that I learned that there are so many other ways, so many other opportunities, so many other avenues. And this is exactly what I always tell people. If you tell me no, through this door, I'm looking for a back door, I'm looking for a window, give me a crack, give me, a little small opening, give me anything, I'm going for it. That's my perspective when it comes to, receiving rejection notices or letters regarding something that I was passionate about, which was, writing. And that's how I dealt with that rejection. Was okay, well, they said no, but there is somebody out there that would give me a chance. There's someone out there who would appreciate what I'm trying to say, appreciate what I'm trying to do. This is not the only publisher in the world. This is not the only, publisher, with this, that deal with this particular genre of writing. There are so many more out there, and it's my job to look to find them, right? So today, as I started off with my own little testimony, we're going to talk about, once again, perceptions. We're going to talk again about perspectives and how you look at things, right? And so that's what I want to emphasize to you today. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Renewed Mind Revolution podcast. I am your host, Michelle Kakal. It is always my honor and my pleasure to share tips and tools with you, because I know they're going to help you and assist you in becoming a better you. I hope you guys are enjoying this podcast. I try to put it out there for you at least twice a week. We hit so many topics, so many good topics, and topics that are near and dear to my heart. So I'm so glad that you have enjoyed the podcast so far, and for those who have reached out to me and let me know that you're getting something out of it, that you're enjoying it, that you're appreciating, that you're learning, thank you. Thank you so much for letting me know that this is something that is benefiting you. Please remember to share this podcast with others, because someone else needs to hear this just like you. Everybody does not broadcast their suffering or their pain or their inconsistency or their struggle. Everyone does not broadcast that, but they might be suffering, right? Quote, quote, suffering in silence. So we need to reach out. We need to share. We need to let people know you're not by yourself. Your case is not an isolated case, because once again, we already know that if the enemy can isolate you, he will what? Destroy you. So we try to make sure that we share with others what we learn, share with others what we know. I do believe that sharing is caring. If you have experienced something, you've came through something, you've been delivered through something, you progressed through something, then you should share that, because then there's someone else who's going through exactly what you went through. Why sit on the sideline and say, well, they have to learn just like I did? Why not? Why not? Throw out a life raft to them and say, hey, I've been there. I know what you're going through. I get it. This is what helped me. This is what has gotten me through, right? This is what this podcast is all about. Just throwing out these little lifelines consistently throwing out these lifelines, saying, hey, I get it. Hey, I know, been there, done that, and you too can come through. That's what this podcast is about. So, thank you once again. Remember that you can always get the books that are available. They are on Amazon.com, and they're also on BarnesandNoble.com. We're talking about faith versus fear, talking about breaking family ties. Go ahead, because most of the information that is released in this podcast are listed in those books. Either one of those books, I mix them up, right? So you can find all this information, all of the tips, all the tools, all the experiences, all the testimonies. All of those are pretty much in those books. Get those books, read those books, share those books, go back, refer back to those books. I am in school right now, getting my master's in divinity theology, and I am referring to my own books, because those are things that I have done research on, and so I'm able to go back to my own books, look at it, read, and apply those to my studies right now. So these are good books to use as a reference as we continue to walk this journey called life, right? And life is full of moments, right? So this book has plenty of moments for you to say, oh my God, I didn't know that. Oh my gosh, she experienced that too, or whom, somebody she knows experienced that. Oh my God, or I can relate to this. This is me. I hear myself in this story. I hear myself in this. So go ahead and go and get those books, and remember to share this information. Follow me on social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Now let's get into it. We have talked about before perspective. My motto which is documented, right? My motto is change your perspective, change your life. There is a podcast that I have listed that actually says this: change your perspective, change your life. This is something that I truly believe in. This is something that I truly work very hard in applying to my own life. Okay. What you need to remember and completely understand is that these tips and these tools that I share with you is something that does not happen overnight, but it's something that you must work toward becoming healthier, becoming better, growing. Listen to that, growing, right? The ing means it's a continuing process, right? You continue it. So understand that all of these tips and these tools is something that we work on every day. Every day. People who suffer from different mental health challenges, right? They have to work on those things every day. Things that they learn in therapy, things that they learn, the practices or whatever that they are given to help them become a better person. They have to put that to work every day. Every day. Because whatever the challenges that come about just about every day. You and I are going to face challenges every day. There's not a day that something doesn't come up in your life that is going to require you, that's going to require me to adjust, to apply our practices, to apply our skill set of growing, of maturing, of becoming a better person. We are always going to be faced with some form of challenge. Now, some people challenges are way more extensive than others. They just are, right? So this week it might be this person dealing with something that is, really traumatic, and the next week it might be you, it might be me. We all deal with something that brings a pause to our everyday life. I remember a message that I heard often over and over again and say, what a difference a day will make, right? What a difference a day will make. Because you can be having a good, days. It's, a little here, little bumps there and whatever. But pretty much consistently, some good times, and boom, one day can change your whole entire life, right? That's a fact for everybody. For everybody. You've heard stories of people and you say to yourself, oh my God, like that is really traumatic. That is something that would have just really knocked me off my feet. Oh my God, I can only imagine their pain, imagine their frustration, imagine their hurt, right? We watch the news, we hear stories, and we just say to ourselves, oh my God, that is so horrible, that's so awful, right? Because one day changed a whole lot for them, right? One day, one moment, it could be one moment. Somebody can run a light, change your moment, right? One person could just, snap one day, right? And they can just ruin lives, right? One person can just go to the doctor's office. It's a regular routine blood work. And that one, moment of there is something that I need to share with you. There's something I need to talk to you about. You get that phone call from your doctor's office. There's something I need you to come into the office. There's something I need to talk to you about. That one moment changes everything. I remember when I first had my first son. I was so excited. I was so, I'm a new mom. Everything is supposed to be great. And when they did his blood work, there was something wrong, right? And immediately my joy, my excitement, my happiness, I was on cloud nine. I finally delivered this baby that I had been carrying and nurturing and loving for so long, ready to take him home, excited about taking him home, sharing him with everybody, showing him off. And now I'm being told that he has to be hospitalized. Okay? So it changed. That moment, boom, changed. Just like that. Boom. So it changed quickly from all this excitement, all this joy, all this happiness, all this, this is great, to oh my Lord, how, why, all these questions. I went from excited to questions because it was one day, one moment can change. So let's go back to what we're talking about, because we know now. I brought up a couple examples, showing you small examples, big examples about how quickly your day can change, how quickly your life can change, how quickly a moment can come and change your whole day or a whole entire life, right? One phone call, the loved one is gone, right? Just one moment, you could be happy, one moment. I've been sitting down, getting ready to eat my dinner and get a phone call and say someone is deceased, lost all desire for eating or anything else. Like just everything, just woof, just that quick. Woof, everything change. Okay? So we're talking about perspectives. We're talking about how to look at things in a different way. How to look at things in a different way. So let me use something that I always use because this is my personal experience. This is where it hurted me the most, and it's something that was a learning experience for me, right? So let's use something that I'm quite familiar with, unfortunately, but it's gonna help you. Okay? So let's talk about changing our perspective. Let's look at grief. Grief. Everybody know my story. Lost, family members. Lost my father, lost my sister, lost my brothers, lost grandparents. Lost aunts, just lost, right? Just so much grief, right? And specifically a time of my father, my sister, my brother, it was just so much. My sister, my brother was kind of close. And the time frame of losing them, it was just really, really horrible, traumatic experience for me when it came to grief. And it was a process of me learning over and over again. So let's look at this. I was in a terrible space, mind space, dealing with so much grief, right? Just trying to make sense, if I could, out of what has happened. If you haven't heard my stories, go back and listen to other podcasts. It's a lot to share. But I remember getting into the perspective part. I remember one day, just reviewing my life and reviewing the loss and reviewing the pain and the hurt and the people who I love. And something about siblings. I've lost my father, and that was extremely traumatic for me. I was young. I had just got married, just had a baby. Once again, something I was supposed to be celebrating, but quickly changed to mourning. But something about siblings, when you lose siblings, and you think about your own vulnerability. You think about how, because you all grew up together, the awareness of if it can happen to them, it can happen to you. And so there's a vulnerability that you have when you lose siblings. Your identity is, if you're very close to your family, you all grew up very close as I did with mine. Your identity is attached to your family. Your environment creates you as a person. This is just facts. This is truth. Our environment helps play a part into whom we become. Our ideas, our beliefs, etc. Our personalities kind of develop based upon our surroundings. So in my case, my most influential environment was my immediate family. So my identity was very much attached to those who I was around, my siblings and my father. So it's very close to these people. So when I lost them, it was such a crisis for me. It's a crisis. How do you go on? How do you continue to live after this snatch from your life? Because once again, my identity is very much attached to the people that I grew up with. So I focused on that so much that I was literally drowning. I was literally, just the inside out, crumbling and falling apart. And I remember while meditating and praying and thinking about all of this stuff. I remember as clear as day, that I need to shift my focus. I need to shift my focus. And that meant that I need to change my perspective. I was so focused in on the lost. I was so focused in on the pain and the ripping apart and the identity crisis of who am I now? What will become of me now when I no longer have these people that play such a huge part of my life here anymore? Who am I now? What do I do? How do I fit in? Who am I now? My sister protected me a lot. She did. Even as an adult, she protected me a lot. How do I continue to move on from this, right? I was so focused on that I failed to focus on the life that I had shared with them, the love that was shown to me, the catering, the support, the support. Like, people go their whole life and never have the love and the support and the guidance that I had from these people. The people that shaped who I was. What a gift it was. I began to look at this gift that, the awareness that some people go their whole life never being loved, right? Some people go their whole life not knowing what it feels like to be loved, right? And so I had to realize, although it hurt, although it was painful, I was so blessed and fortunate because I had the opportunity to be loved. People cared. These people would call me. These people wanted my presence. They wanted me over. They wanted to spend time with me. They didn't run from me. They didn't say, "Oh, here she come, let me go." No, they would. My mom, my father would call. My sister would call. Where are you? Are you coming over today? My sister, when I would come over, she would tell me, "Come on over here. Come talk to me. Come sit with me." They wanted my presence. They wanted my attention. They wanted my time. They loved me enough to want me around. And what a blessing that was. What a treat that was to have somebody who loves you enough that they want your time. Come on, some people don't have that. People running from them. They don't want to be bothered. They ignore them. They avoid them. But I was so fortunate to have people who loved me and people who cared for me and people who showed me support. So instead of me focusing on the loss, I began to learn to focus on the gain. This is changing our perspective. This is how the angles. We changing our angles on how we look at things. I was so caught up in the pain and the trauma, and I soaked in it. I soaked in it. I marinated in it. This is who I was now, right? A person who was hurt and bitter and angry and frustrated, felt lost and felt left behind. But then I began to look at it from a place of love. God loved me enough to put me in a place where people loved me and they cared about me and they was concerned about me and they checked on me and they celebrated with me. When I celebrated, my sister celebrated, my father celebrated, my brother celebrated. People celebrated with me. They were proud of me. They were happy for me. They loved on me. Okay? They showed compassion for me. What a gift. What a gift. What a gift it is to know that you were loved and that they loved on my children. My father didn't get a chance to see my kids grow up. He was able to only see my son being born, my first son. But the rest of my, family, my siblings, they were able to see my kids. My daughter, my sister, she loved on my kids. She loved on, my daughter, and she cared for her and she cared for my boys and she babysitted them all the time. These kids were brought up in love from the people who left. They loved. What an honor. What a blessing. Changing my perspective. Changing my perspective. Taking something that was designed and meant probably to destroy. I mean, that was a moment that could have definitely destroyed me and never come back, never recover. But the grace, come on, talked about that before. The grace of God allowed me to see it in a different, from a different angle, a different what perspective. That I was loved, that I was cared for, and I had an opportunity to experience love, and I had an opportunity to show much love, to show love. I remember one time, you guys, my sister had been, sick for a while, and out the blue, I just felt compelled to just treat her one day, and I went over and I did her hair. I soaked and rubbed her feet and took care of her toenails, gave her a pedicure. I felt so confident and grateful for that moment, later on, because, I realized I was able to nurture her, love on her. What a blessing. I remember her and I had this hobby. We collected things together, certain things, and I was able to give her, one of our collections that she loved. Oh my gosh, she loved it. She loved it. Remember, before my father passed away, I was still young, just a kid when he died. But I remember that Christmas right before he died. In December, he died in February. I was able to give him, for the first time, because remember, you guys, I was like just still a kid myself. I was able to give him a Christmas gift for the first time, like a real Christmas gift. And I was able to give him a watch, a very nice watch. And I was so proud to be able to give him this watch, to see his face, right? See his face. He celebrated with me. I remember when I graduated from college, he was able to see that. He celebrated so that he cried, my mom said. He cried. He was so proud, you know. I was able to give him that moment. I was able to have that moment, share that moment with him. Why should I see it any other way? Why? Why should I see it, in any other way than I had awesome memories, great times, and an opportunity to show love, be loved by people that I loved and that loved me in return? Why not see it that way? Why choose to see it as, the pain, the hurt, the loss, the trauma? Why focus on that instead of focusing in on the love that was shared? See, we have to make a decision, you and I both. We have to make a decision, a conscious decision. I'm very, very purposeful in the things that I do, and I share that word a lot because I think it's important that we pay attention when we do stuff, when we say stuff. Get be very intentional, right? A lot of times people are intentional on doing things that are hurtful and harmful. But let's be intentional about our growth, about our health, about being a better person for ourselves. It's not selfish. It's not selfish. At one time, I know, I thought how selfish it felt to live a good life after that loss. I know it makes no sense for those who haven't really lost somebody, but for those who have, you understand what I'm saying. You almost feel, like it seems wrong to celebrate and be happy after, right? But, it comes a time when you realize, now, truthfully, people say, well, they will want. They don't know what people want all the time. They just say things. But I know for a fact that my sister and my brother and my father and those would love to see people that they love flourish, grow, spread their wings and fly. Because when they were here, that's what they wanted. That's what they wanted. And our conversations was always so deep, about the afterlife and what we would want if something was to happen to us. So we know, that they will want you to be happy. They will want you to grow. They will want you to pursue your dreams, pursue your purpose. Never, back down, never let go, never give in, but fight to the end and push to the end, right? And because I know that, right? I had an obligation to myself. You have an obligation to yourself to be the best that you can be. And I don't know your story. I don't know what drives you. I don't know what put you in the place that you're in currently, whatever that is, right? I don't know what put you there. But I know that, number one, you cannot continue to be in a place that you are unhappy with, that you are unsatisfied with. If you feel like I should be doing more, I should be, taking care of myself more, I should be making better choices, then once you identify that, you are obligated to take care of that. A lot of times people feel like, I put myself here, this is where I belong, this is where I stay. Change your perspective on that. Yeah, you made poor choices. Yeah, you put yourself in these bad situations, but you deserve to give yourself a new opportunity, a better opportunity, a second chance. Some people can get so low that they can't even visualize another day, better yet another year, another month, right? They can't visualize another day. The pain is so thick, so heavy, so strong that they can't see another day. You can't see another day. And so we want to, here on this podcast, I want to make sure that I draw attention to those who are struggling with, no, you don't understand, talking about another year. What's my 5-year plan, 10-year plan? I can't even see another day. Because that weight is so heavy. That weight is so heavy. I understand you. I feel you. And I'm here to, share with you today that although it seems that way, there is still strength in you. There is still life in you. There is a fighter in you. The fact that you're listening to this podcast is a sign for you to recognize, hear me clearly, to recognize that there is strength in you, that you still have purpose, and that you can make it, that you can do it. I mean, it doesn't seem like it. We can't get caught in our feelings. It doesn't feel like it, but you can. You can. Let me remind you. Let me share this with you. Let me bring light to this for you. Let me help you lift this load off of I can't to I can. Okay. Let's do that today. Let's look at it from another perspective and say, I've been here for a long time, but today is a new day. Today is a new opportunity. And even if you start today and you still find it, a struggle, but you started, give yourself the accolades, give yourself the good job, the congratulations that you deserve and that you need. Don't say to yourself, I barely made it today. This is hard. And look at everything that went wrong. Look at the fact that you tried, that you attempted, that you put forth an effort. That's another thing. Change this perspective. A lot of times people attempt to do stuff and it doesn't work out. And then they go right back into the hole again because it didn't work out the way they wanted. They don't give themselves the accolades, the congratulations that, you attempted, you tried, you put forth an effort. Sometimes it takes a lot for people to come out of this place that they've been in for so long. It takes a lot of strength. So the fact that you even pulled up and got out to push shows a lot. And so I want you to do more of good job. Do more of I can do this. Do more of, man, I did that. Do more of, today it was a good day. I mean, I had my challenges. I had some moments, but it was a good day. Do more of, um, man, I was a little ill today, but I still pushed. You know, Today I had to take care of so many things, but I handled it. Like twisted. Like you're facing the reality of what you had to go through and what you had to do, but then put a twist on it. Say, but you still accomplished it. You still did it. I still handled myself. I still conduct myself, and a lot of times what we do is we emphasize on all the wrong things, all the things that went wrong, all the bad things, and we forget to highlight the good, the positive, because it's so, for some reason, it's like our default settings is to see the bad, see the negative, see the things that didn't work out. That's our default setting, but I want to adjust our default setting, and I want our default setting to be, the opposite of that. I want our default setting to be, to see good, to see the rainbow. It rained really hard. It was really rough weather, but there go that rainbow. Like, see something good at it. Try to find something good. It was challenging, it was hard, it was a struggle, but let me find something. It takes strength to do this. It takes strength, but you got it. I got it. We got it. We got this now. We got this. We got this strength. We just need to learn how to use this strength. We need to learn to apply this strength. And so I just really wanted to come on, you guys. I normally don't go over this long, but I needed to share this today. Because I really, see people beating themselves up a lot versus encouraging themselves, versus, reminding themselves that they can do it, that they can handle it, that if he called you to it, he has equipped you for it. And that's my thing too. I like to share that a lot. If he called you to it, he has equipped you for it. If he allowed it to happen to you or come to you, then he got you. He has built you up for it. He has given you everything you need. A lot of times we don't even know it. A lot of times we're looking for something that's already in our hands. We already got it. The strength, the tools that we need. We just need to learn to apply it, to use this. This is for everybody. To use your gifts, use your talents, use the strength that you have. So listen, it's been a good moment. It's been a good moment. You've taken, a good 40 minutes out of your life to listen, and I appreciate you. I want you to know that I appreciate you so very much for taking your time and listening. When I look at my listeners, I look at the numbers. I'm just overwhelmed and very grateful that you would take the time to listen. And my prayer always is that not only are you listening, but you're getting something out of it. God bless you guys so much. Thank you for listening to Renew My Revolution podcast with your host, Michelle Kakal. Today has been a good one. Another one for the books. And so remember to share this podcast with others that might be going through something that we have discussed here in this podcast today. Remember, you can always connect with me on social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Remember to go check out the book Faith vs. Spirit, Breaking Family Ties on Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble. I love you. I love you. I love you. But most importantly, remember, God loves you more. God bless.